Imagine standing at the center of a crowded room. Every eye drawn to you, every thought bending toward your presence. You don't just want to be noticed. No, you want to command attention, to lead with a force so quiet, so undeniable. It reshapes everything around you. This is the psychology of the king. But it's not about crowns or thrones. It's deeper. It's about how you think, how you hold your power, your purpose, how you build an unshakable mind that moves through the chaos of life like a calm storm. Carl Jung, one of history's greatest minds, understood this. He showed us that true power begins in the psyche. It's about mastering your inner kingdom before you conquer the outer world. In this video, you'll discover the hidden patterns of thought that kings have used for centuries, how to harness purpose as a weapon, how to think with power, not arrogance, how to rule your mind, and in doing so, transform your life. So if you're ready to step into your throne, to lead with authority, and to think like a king, then stay with me, because this changes everything. You don't even know who you are in this game. The pawn, the queen, the spectator, or the king, and you're so busy trying to look strong, smart, charming, that you've forgotten the only thing that matters. Your real purpose is to survive. Your real role is to exist with intention. Your mission, to guard what's essential. But you keep moving, like victories just pushing forward, blindly, with no aim, no pause, no you. Listen close. The king doesn't rush around the board to prove power. He just knows who he is. But you wake up every day craving to prove something, to someone, to everyone. You fight to control the board when you can't even control your thoughts. Let me say it again. You are the king. Not cause you're strong, not cause you're fast. You're the king. Because without you, it's game over. Yet, you've handed your worth to pieces that vanish overnight. You really think success is having every angle covered, being everywhere, having every answer. That's not strategy. That's just noise. True strategy starts in silence. Knowing when not to move, seeing that not everything bright on this board is worth your time. You've spent too long believing that looking strong makes you untouchable. But tell me, how strong are you if you can't protect your own peace of mind? How high can you climb if you don't even know what you want? Your problem isn't lack of success. It's lack of direction. Because if you don't know what you're guarding, anything can steal your focus. A smart player, he doesn't start by watching the opponent. He starts by knowing his king, his limits, his position, what's really at stake. If you don't know who you are, you won't even see when you're losing. So here's the question you should have asked yourself years ago. What are you defending? Your job? Your image? Your reputation? That's just air. That's smoke. What really matters is what stays hidden. Your mental health, your emotional balance, your values, your purpose. That's your true strength. That's what can't and mustn't fall, because when that breaks, everything else is worthless. But you ignore it. You bury it. You cover it up with empty goals, fake trophies, endless applause, like success is some loud cheer instead of a quiet certainty inside you. Like being admired makes you whole. But here's the truth. The world can clap for you while you're crumbling inside. What good's a powerful queen if your king's about to collapse? You've played this game like you're untouchable, like you don't bleed, like you're some rook, charging in straight lines, fearless, but you're not. You're the king. And the king moves slowly. The king watches. The king protects himself. He doesn't win by attacking everything in sight. He wins by resisting, by knowing when to step and when to stand still. Because the king who runs blind dies fast. You get it now. Every time you betray yourself just to fit in, you're moving your king into invisible check. Every time you put what they think above what you feel, you leave your soul wide open. Every time you fake it instead of face it, you lose a piece you can't get back. And then you wonder why you can't find peace. It's simple. You never built an inner castle. You built walls for the outside world, but inside, everything's cracked. Everything's in ruins. You've obsessed over external strategy and missed the obvious. The real game is inside. You don't need to know how to move them. You need to know what you're willing to sacrifice and what you won't. This is where self-knowledge lives. Only someone who knows themselves can build a strategy that won't break them. Only someone who knows themselves can protect what's essential without mistaking it for noise. Because those who don't know their worth, they give everything for nothing. And you know what's the worst part? The worst part, you do it with a smile. How long you gonna keep trading your principles just to belong? How long you gonna mask your anxiety and call it ambition? How long you gonna label all that constant noise success when it won't even let you sleep? This ain't about winning. It's about holding tight to what holds you. It's about guarding your core even when the world's falling apart. 'Cause if you lose the king, the game's done. Here's a brutal truth. No one tells you the worst enemy ain't out there. It's the one inside. Your raw thoughts, the feelings you never understood, the wounds you never healed. That inner noise that whispers sabotage every time you're about to step up. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Not ready. You'll fail. Stay where you are, and you listen, 'cause it sounds familiar. You've told it to yourself for so long. You think it's you, but it's not you. You're the one hearing it. And if you can hear it, you can change it. Real leadership, it doesn't start when you lead others. It starts when you lead your mind, when you quiet the fear, when you choose clarity, right in the middle of chaos. 'Cause chaos, it never really leaves. What changes is you. Your power to walk through it, unbroken. The world claps for winners, but it respects those who survive without losing themselves. 'Cause success without peace, it's just noise in an empty room, a crown heavier than its worth. So ask yourself, do you want to win, or do you want to endure without betraying you? 'Cause only one of those gives you freedom. And no, this ain't about being untouchable. It's about knowing your weak spots and guarding them smart. It's about facing pain and standing strong inside it. It's about building a shield, not of pride, not of ego, but of purpose, of principles, of clarity. 'Cause when you know what you're defending, you don't sell your soul at the first sign of trouble. Here's the irony. The better you know yourself, the less you gotta prove. The clearer your center gets, the less the outside chaos shakes you. The more you guard your king, the less you care about the battle. True power, you don't see it, you feel it. It's that quiet calm in people who never need to shout. It's that silence that rattles the ones addicted to noise. It's that steady look that says, I know who I am, and I'm not moving on a whim. So tell me, when was the last time you sat with yourself and asked, what is it I really want to protect? 'Cause until you answer that, honestly, you'll keep moving on reflex, not strategy. And those who move on reflex, they lose. The real game ain't won by who charges ahead the most. It's won by who knows what they'll never give up. And you, do you know? Do you really know what you'll never surrender? 'Cause if you don't, any shiny offer looks tempting. Any voice sounds wise. Any loss feels final. But it's not. Failure doesn't define you. What does is what you protect, even when everything else is on the line. Guard your mind, guard your peace, guard your integrity, guard your purpose. That's not selfish. That's strategy. That's leadership. That's maturity. The king who survives ain't the fastest piece or the loudest. He's the most aware, the one who won't trade what's essential for what's urgent, the one who won't swap his peace for cheap applause, the one who won't beg for recognition because he knows his worth doesn't depend on being seen. And here's the last sharp truth. If you don't guard your king, no one else will. You are the center. And if you fall, doesn't matter how many pieces you've got left on the board, the game's over. So, start today. No big dramatic moves. No sudden revolutions. Just one step. See yourself. Face yourself. Ask brutally honest. What am I neglecting that I should be protecting with everything? 'Cause when you know that, you won't move on autopilot anymore. You'll move with intention. And at that moment, even a single step puts you miles ahead of those who move blind. Real victory. It's not about winning the board. It's about not losing yourself. And do you know the mistake so many make? The reason they lose this game without even knowing? They think protecting what's essential means shutting the world out. That taking care of your inner kingdom ain't about building walls. Self-knowledge ain't some act of defense. It's an act of power. Let me tell you something. Most people never grasp. Knowing yourself doesn't make you fragile. It makes you dangerous. 'Cause when you know what you won't lose, when you're clear about who you are and what you'll never allow, you become unpredictable. In a world that feeds on manipulating rootless people, look around you, look close. Most folks act from fear, from lack, from that never-ending ache that they're missing something. And you know what that does? It makes him easy to control. Poke their ego. They crumble. Deny them praise. They beg. Hand them validation. They'll sell their soul for it. But there's one type of person who don't bend to those rules. The one who's done the inner work. The one who sat with their shadows and shook hands with him. You can't dominate that person. You can't buy him with applause or cage him with rejection. They've tasted it all inside. They don't need to belong because they already belong to themselves. And that brings me here, the brutal truth no one wants to hear. The gap between the one who chases power and the one who stands in clarity. The first, a slave to hunger. The second, free in their purpose. See it yet? Everybody wants power, money power, influence power, power over people. But real power, it ain't out there. It ain't something you stack up. It's inside. And the wild part, it's quiet. It doesn't flash, doesn't scream for eyes. True power is standing in front of your life, looking it dead on and saying, this is who I am. This is my worth. This is where I don't bend. It's the power of not needing to shout you're strong, because your consistency says it for you. And what fuels that power? Clarity. Clarity you can't buy, can't borrow, can't inherit. It's earned. It's forged. It's bled for. 'Cause having clarity ain't about knowing what you want when the sun's out. It's about holding on to it when the roof caves in. It's standing in the storm saying, this doesn't break me. It's watching everyone run and choosing not to move. Not because you're slow, but because you already know where you stand and where you're going. And that, my friend, terrifies the ones still wandering. Clarity is a weapon, a quiet weapon that rattles the world. 'Cause in an age where everyone doubts everything, the one who walks with conviction shines like a threat. It reminds everyone, yes, it's possible to have direction. Yes, it's possible to live with purpose. Yes, you can live with meaning if you're willing to stop living for everyone else. But no one tells you that. Why? 'Cause if you knew, you'd stop being manipulated. You'd quit buying what you don't need. Quit grinding for what you hate. Quit tolerating what kills you inside. That's why this world worships the obedient and punishes the lucid. Obedient ones, pieces on the board. The lucid, they're kings. So we're back to the board. A king with no clarity, a pawn in disguise. He thinks he rules, but he moves on reflex. He panics when a rook drops. He collapses when a queen falls. 'Cause his center's not inside. It's out there, in the noise. But the king with clarity, he can stand alone, just him, the silence, and the enemies, and still play with intention. And here's the twist. Clarity ain't arrogance. It's not pretending you know it all. It's having the humility to admit what you don't know, and the wisdom not to act from ignorance. It's knowing when to speak, and when to shut up, when to charge forward, and when to wait, when to give it all, and when to pull back, to guard what must never fall. Self-knowledge. It ain't just about who you are. It's seeing your limits, your blind spots, your wounds, your obsessions. 'Cause if you can't see 'em, someone else will, and they'll use 'em to bend you. If you don't know where it hurts, any hand can press right there. But if you do, if you see it, own it, work on it, they lose their grip. You stop reacting. You choose. And that's the next level of the game, the one for the choosers. 'Cause there's only two kinds of people, those who react and those who decide, those who live at the mercy of the board and those who pick their next move deliberately. And only the latter truly lead, not the world, not the crowd, first themselves. Here's a burning truth. If you don't decide your life, someone else will. Not always out of malice, just 'cause empty space never stays empty. If you don't fill your life with purpose, the world will flood it with noise, with endless buying, with constant comparison, with cheap expectations, and without even seeing it, you're living a borrowed life. A life that sounds good, but ain't yours. And what's the point of winning a game with rules you didn't write? That's no victory. That's just fancy chains, success with a sour taste of defeat. And the worst part, you won't see it till it's too late. Till you wake up, look in the mirror, and don't know who you're looking at, or why you do what you do. That moment, that's checkmate. No move can save you if you've lost touch with what's essential. And that's where balance comes in. Another pillar people forget. Internal leadership ain't just knowing yourself, it's caring for yourself. And I don't mean spa days or random breaks. I mean guarding your center, feeding your mind, watering your values, silencing the junk that adds nothing, filtering what you let in. 'Cause your mind, my friend, is fertile ground. Whatever you plant there, it grows. So tell me, what you planting? Clarity or noise? If you spend your days drowning in distractions, listening to fear, comparing yourself to fake lives, what do you think's gonna grow? Not peace, not purpose. And that's when the rot begins. First inside, where no one sees it, then out in the open, where everyone does, till one day the board looks polished from the outside, but you know you've already lost the game inside. And that's the saddest part, 'cause you can rebuild the outside. But when the king falls inside, everything else is just decoration. So I'll say it again, guard your center, guard your mind, your balance, your purpose. Not 'cause you're weak, but 'cause you're essential. Lose yourself, and everything else loses meaning too. And if you still doubt this, ask yourself one last thing. How many choices in your life came from fear, and how many from clarity? That answer, it'll tell you if you're really playing or just moving. And if you're still here, if you've listened to every word without looking away, that means something. It means somewhere deep in your mind, a voice is whispering, "This is for me." That's no accident. That's your own consciousness, nudging you awake. You're at a turning point. That sharp moment where you either keep living this borrowed life, or you finally grab the board and play it. But wait, don't disappear just yet, 'cause the most powerful part comes now. Ever felt like you're moving forward, but got no direction? Like every win feels emptier, every trophy's just a patch, and the emptiness leaks right through. It's not that you're wrong, you're just disconnected. When you don't know what you're protecting, everything starts to feel pointless, and that kills you slow. The soul doesn't die from one hit. It dies, drip by drip, from living each day with no purpose, from trading what's essential for what's urgent. And the twist? You probably already hold everything you need inside. You know it, you've felt it, but you're scared to make it real. Scared that once you act, there's no going back. And guess what? You're right, there is no going back. 'Cause once you taste life with clarity, you'll never settle for noise again. And yeah, that's scary, but it's also freedom. Real freedom, raw, beautiful. The kind only the brave earn. The ones who dare to look inside and say, "This is who I am, and I'll never betray it." So here it is, one last question you can't dodge. Are you gonna keep moving blind, Or are you gonna play for real? Look, this ain't some hype speech, no epic music, no sugar rush of you can do it all. This is you, facing you, having the guts to stand your ground, building yourself, brick by brick, principle by principle, learning to say no to the shiny stuff that drags you away from your truth, choosing to walk with intention, while the rest run around lost. And when you get this, really get it, the board, it stops intimidating you, because you don't play to please anymore. You don't move pieces because you're scared. You don't sacrifice your king for a pawn of cheap validation. You play to protect what matters. You play with consciousness, and that makes you invincible, inside, untouchable, unstoppable. So don't say you can't. Don't say it's too late. What you really need ain't time, it's decision. So do one thing today, guard your center, even if it's small, even if nobody sees it, even if it looks insignificant, because the truth, it's the biggest thing you'll ever do, holding your inner kingdom. And before you go, I've got one thing for you. Drop down to the comments and write this: my king doesn't give up. It's your line in the sand, your quiet roar that says, I get it, I'm ready to play for real. Hit subscribe if any part of this hit you like a silent punch to the chest. If even one line made you close your eyes and whisper, this is what I needed to hear. Because here, we're not here to entertain you. We're here to wake you up, and believe me, this doesn't stop here. From now on, every move you make, it's different, because you don't move just to move anymore. You move with intention, and that sets you apart from the crowd. So do it, subscribe, leave that phrase, my king doesn't give up, in the comments, and get ready, because what's coming ain't a game, it's life, played by someone who's remembered who the real king is. I'll see you in the next video, or maybe in that quiet space between one move and the next.